Unit 2 Solving, Lesson 7, Part 2. Solving multi-step equations, notes, and more examples. In this lesson, by the way, we're on page 31 in the notes, I can verify a solution to a linear equation. I can solve multi-step linear equations. I can justify each step used in solving a linear equation. I can model situations with linear equations. Solving multi-step equations combines adding like terms, solving addition equations, and solving multiplication equations. In fact, the way to think about these steps, step 1, you simplify both sides. I may have this written on the next page. No, I don't. You simplify both sides. Step 2, you isolate the variable term. Step 3, you make the coefficient of the variable term equal 1. And that's pretty much the steps involved here. Now, simplifying both sides may take multiple steps, might be multiple steps. Isolating the variable term might be multiple steps. And making the coefficient of the variable equal to 1 usually only takes one step. Okay, example 243. We're going to solve each equation, verify the solution. First step. Simplify both sides. I see minus negative 12. I want to change that to plus positive 12. This is 3p plus 12 equals negative 9. There are no like terms. There are no parentheses left. We are ready to move on to the next step. The next step is to isolate the variable term. We need to get 3p by itself. We can do that with a negative 12 on both sides. This will give us 0 here. 3p equals they're both negative, negative 9, negative 12, so we can add them together and get negative 21. All right, we've got the variable term by itself. Next, we need to isolate or make the term have a coefficient of 1. To get rid of the 3 and make it a 1, we need to divide by 3. And this makes 1p. Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. P equals negative 7 is our solution. Next, we're going to check the solution, or verify solution. 3 times p, negative 7, minus negative 12 is negative 9. So 3 times negative 7 is negative 21, minus negative, so negative 21 plus 12 is negative 9. And that is true. So we have verified our solution. Next example. Example 244. 1.2 minus 0.75t plus 0.35t equals 1. First, we're going to simplify both sides. The 1.2, there are no like terms, but we do keep it. This negative 0.75 plus 0.35t can be combined together to get negative 0.4t, and that equals 1. Next, we are going to want to isolate the variable term. This term has the variable in it. We need to get rid of the 1.2. We're going to subtract 1.2. And this gives us negative 0.4t equals negative 0.2. Now we've got the variable term by itself. We need to isolate the variable and get the coefficient to be 1. We need to divide here by negative 0.4. Divide both sides by negative 0.4. Now right here, that does give us the 1 we were looking for, 1t. Negative 0.2 divided by 0.4. Negative divide negative is positive. So this is 0.2 divided by 0.4, which is 1/2, or 0.5. So we get our answer of t equals 0.5. Next, we need to verify our solution. Copy down the original problem, plugging in 0.5 for t. Okay, so 1.2 minus 0.75 times 0.5, I am not sure, 0.375 Then we're going to add to that 0.35 times 0.5 is 0.175. And 1.2 minus 0.375 plus 0.175. I think if we combine these together, we get negative 0.2. And 1.2 minus 0.2 is 1. That actually checks out just fine. Okay, next example. First step is to simplify both sides. Well, this one side is already simplified. It's just negative 63. This other side, these are all c's, so we can add them all together. 4c plus 5c plus 12. 4 plus 5 plus 12 is 21. 21c equals negative 63. Next step, isolate the variable term. Well, there's nothing that's not part of the variable term, so that step is actually already done. So we can make the coefficient equal to 1. We just need to divide both sides by 21. And we get 1c equals negative 3. So we do have our answer now. We're going to check our solution. 4 times negative 3 plus 5 times negative 3 plus 12 times negative 3 will equal negative 63. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. 12 times negative 3 is negative 36. And this should all equal negative 63. So 12, 15, and 36, all negative. If we add those together, we get 63. Sure enough, that is the solution. All right, example 246. 11q plus 9 equals 75. Step 1, simplify both sides. All right, 11q plus 9, there are no like terms, and 75, there are no like terms. Both sides are already simplified. Move to the next step. We need to isolate the variable term. We need to get rid of the plus 9, so we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. And 75 minus 9 is 66, and that equals 11q. Next step, we're going to make the coefficient of the variable term equal to 1. Divide both sides by 11. We get q equals 66 divided by 11 is just 6. So q equals 6 is our answer. We've got 11 times 6 plus 9 equals 75. We're just checking our solution. 11 times 6 is 66. Plus 9 equals 75. That is true. So our solution does check out. Example 247. 3/8 of u minus 2 equals negative 5. First, we simplify both sides. I notice that 3/8 u and negative 2 are not like terms. There's nothing I can do there. The other side, there's a negative 5. Step 1 is done. Step 2, isolate the variable term. We've got to get rid of that negative 2. Let's add 2 to both sides. And this leaves us with 3/8 u equals negative 3. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Okay, we have the variable term by itself. Now we need to make the coefficient equal to 1. To make a 3/8 into a 1, we were dealing with a fraction, so we're going to want to use multiplication by the reciprocal. This will give us 1. 1u equals negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. Divide it by 3, we get negative 8. Our answer here is negative 8. Now we're going to check our solution. 3/8 of negative 8 minus 2 equals negative 5. 3/8 of negative 8, that's 3 times 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So negative 3 minus 2 equals negative 5, and that is true. Example 248. On this one, we are going to have to simplify. Looks like we need to distribute the 5 into the parentheses. 5 times 4/5 is 20/5. That's just 4. G. 5 times negative 6 is negative 30, and that equals negative 14. Okay, there's no like terms or parentheses left, so we can move on. We're going to get this variable term by itself. We need to get rid of the negative 30. We do that with a plus 30 on both sides. This gives us 0. So 4g equals 16. Negative 14 plus 30 is 16. Next, we need to make the variable of the coefficient of the variable term equal to 1. We can do that if we divide by 4. 4 divided 4 is 1. We get 1g. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So our answer, g equals 4. All right, on this we need to put our original problem back together and see if it works. 5 times 4/5 of 4 minus 6 is equal to negative 14. 4/5 times 4 is 16/5. That's 16/5. 3.2. 3.2 minus 6 is negative 2.8. So 5 times negative 2.8 equals negative 14. And 5 times negative 2 is 10, negative 10. And 0.8 times 5 is negative 4. So yeah, negative 10 and negative 4 do make negative 14. That does check out for us. Example 249, a situation problem. A rectangular garden plot is 2/3 of the full length of the adjacent driveway and 12 feet wide. The area of the garden plot is 172 square feet. Write and solve an equation to determine the length of the driveway. Well, first, we're going to make L equal the length of the driveway. I think a picture here would be helpful. We've got a rectangular garden plot, 2/3 the full length of an adjacent driveway, and 12 feet wide. So let's make this our driveway. And it says it's 2/3 of the length, so it's a little bit shorter. And so this is 2/3 of the length of the driveway. I guess the actual driveway is L long. Just by definition, L is the length of the driveway. And it tells us that it is 12 feet wide. The area of the garden plot is 172 square feet, so I'm going to go ahead and write that in here into my picture. And that's all the information from the problem. We're going to have to go with that, see if we can't figure things out here. So first, the setup. Since we're dealing with the area of the garden plot, remember that the area of a rectangle is length times width. Maybe I shouldn't use L because I used L here. Let's say base times height. Yeah, base times height. So A equals BH. The area is 172. The base is 12. The height is 2/3 L. 2/3 the length of the driveway. This is the setup. Now, step 1 in solving these are to simplify both sides. I can simplify this. It's multiplications needed. 12 times 2/3, well, 12 times 2 is 24, divided by 3 is 8. This is 8 lengths of the driveway is equal to 172. Next step, we need to isolate the variable term. Now, the variable term is 8L. That's actually already isolated, so I don't have to do anything special there. And then the next step is to get the variable by itself by dividing by the coefficient, get the coefficient equal to 1. So we get 1L. And 172 divided by 8 is 21.5. So the answer is the length of the driveway is 21.5 feet. Okay, the length of the driveway is 21.5 feet. Next example, example 250. Carly plants a tree on her 11th birthday. Oh, good idea, Carly. The tree is 29.4 inches tall on the day it is planted. So I guess on the day of her birthday it's 29.4 inches tall. According to her research, this species of tree will grow 3.5 inches every year. Her mom is 65 inches tall. How old can Carly expect to be when the tree reaches the same height as her mom? Write and solve an equation to determine Carly's age when the tree reaches her mom's height. Well, Carly's age is what we are trying to figure out. Let's use a K to equal Carly's age. Now, I'm going to draw a picture. We've got Carly on her 11th birthday. The tree is 29.4 inches tall. Now, at a later time, the tree is going to keep growing until it is 65 inches tall. And we are also told that it goes up 3.5 inches per year. All right, there's all the information from the problem drawn as a picture. So understanding the problem is important. We need to go from a 29.4 inch tall tree going up by 3.5 inches per year until we are at a 65 inch tall tree. So the setup on this problem, we are going to have a 29.4 inch tree, and it is going to increase until it is a 65 inch tall tree. Now, how are we going to represent the increase? The increase is 3.5 inches per year, and we need to multiply by the number of years. Well, K is Carly's age. We won't just simplify or multiply it by K. The number of years later is going to be Carly's age minus 11. So when she starts out at 11, 11 minus 11 is 0. So we start out at 0 years. So we're going 3.5 inches per year times Carly's age minus 11. And that will give us how many years it's been since her 11th birthday. Okay, let's move on and solve this problem like usual. We need to simplify both sides. 3.5 times K is 3.5K. 3.5 times 11, well, that's going to take me some thinking. I think 38.5. But let me check on my calculator. 3.5 times negative 11, I get negative 38.5. And I need to make sure I don't forget this 29.4. Then we're going to add like terms. 29.4 and negative 38.5 make negative 9.1. So we get 3.5K minus 9.1 is 65. We need to, next step, isolate the variable term. We need to add the 9.1 away. This is 3.5K equals, let's see, 65 plus 9.1 would be 74.1. Next step, we need to make the coefficient of the variable term equal to 1. So we're going to divide by 3.5 on both sides. And K is going to equal, let's see, 74.1 divided by 3.5 is 21.17 years. So if she's 21.17 years old, that's actually 22 years old. 21 full years, and then she started into her 22nd year. Actually, let me think about that. That's actually 21 years old. So the answer here, of course, would be Carly is 21. Or Carly will be, would be a better way to answer it. Carly will be 21 years old when that occurs. It won't be on her 21st birthday. It looks like it takes a little bit over 10 years for it to occur. Okay, next example. Henry buys a snack and fills his car's tank with gas at a convenience store. The snack cost $4.45, and his total for the snack was $9.50, or his snack and 9.560 gallons of gasoline was $31.78. The snack cost $4.45. I already read that part. Write and solve an equation to find the cost per gallon of gasoline. Round your answer to the nearest mill, $0.001. Okay, so for that we're going to want to do some calculations here. All right, so setting this up, we are going to buy a snack and gas, and that will give us the total cost. Well, the total cost is $31.78. The snack is $4.45. Oh, that should be an equal sign. The snack is $4.45, and the gas we're gonna have to do some figuring on. All right, the gas is 9.560 gallons, and we need to multiply that by the cost of, well, the cost per gallon of gasoline is going to be our unknown. Let's actually just let it equal X. I guess we could use C. So we've got 9.560 as the total amount of gas, and we need to multiply that by the number of gallons, or the cost per gallon, which is X. So this gives us our equation. 31.78 is going to equal 4.45 plus 9.560x. This will give us the total here. Now, simplifying both sides is already done. There's no parentheses, there's no like terms. We need to isolate the variable term by subtracting 4.45 from both sides. This is just subtracting off the cost of the snack, so we will know what was spent on gasoline alone. So 31.78, we're going to subtract off 4.45, and that leaves us with $27.33, equal to 9.560. That looks like an 8. 9.560x. Next step is to get the variable term equal to 1. So we're going to divide by 9.560 on both sides. And 27.33 divided by 9.560 is 2.8587866. It says to round to the nearest 0.001, which is right here. That 8, because of the 7 after it's going to round up, it's going to be 2.5859 is equal to X. So the answer is the gasoline costs that's a weird looking ad. Gasoline costs $2.85.9 per gallon. So gasoline costs $2.85.9 per gallon. Okay, just a couple of quick examples. Solve each equation, check your solution. We start by simplifying both sides. On number 7 here, 4 and 3 make 7. 7 minus 2y is equal to -9. We need to next isolate the variable term, -2y. We need to do a -7 to get rid of that. So -2y will equal -16. Next, we need to make the coefficient of the variable term equal to 1. We divide by -2. This gives us 1y equals -16 divided by -2 is +8. And we get our solution. Checking that solution, we've got 4 minus 2 times 8 plus 3 equals negative 9. 4 minus 16 is negative 12, plus 3 is negative 9. That does check out, and it is correct. And I'm just going to shrink it down in and put it over here with that. Okay, that one was checked out just fine. Okay, example 8. Simplify both sides. There are some like terms here. 7x minus 10x makes negative 3x, and that will equal 15. The other side's already simplified. Get the variable term by itself. It's already by itself. Make the coefficient equal to 1. Divide both sides by negative 3. This will give us 1x equals 15 divided by negative 3 is negative 5. X equals negative 5 is our answer. Next, we check our solution. 7 times negative 5 minus 10 times negative 5 should equal 15. This is negative 35 plus 50 equals 15, and that is true. That checks out just fine. Next example, start by simplifying both sides. We do have some like terms here. So 1.3 minus 2.1 is 0.8 m. Then we need to isolate the variable term. That's already done. We need to make the coefficient equal to 1, divide by 0.8 on both sides, and that looks kind of funny. Negative 10 is equal to m. That is our solution. Then we check our solution. Negative 8 is equal to 1.3 times negative 10 minus 2.1 times negative 10. And this is negative 8 is equal to negative 13 plus 21. And that does check out. That's true. Okay, next example. Simplify both sides first, and we need to distribute the 3. 3x minus 12 equals 9. Next, we need to isolate the variable term. Get rid of the minus 12 with a plus 12. And 3x will equal 21. Next, we need to make the coefficient of the variable term equal to 1. We're going to divide by 3 to make that happen. And x will equal 7. That is our solution. Next, we need to check that solution. We need to put the original equation in and replace x with 7. And this is 3 times 3 equals 9, which is true. That checks out just fine. Now, in the practice, let's take a look here. We're going to follow these exact same steps. Let's go ahead and do which example? Let's do E. First step is to simplify both sides. 5 times h is 5h. 5 times 7 is plus 35. Negative 4 times h is negative 4h. Negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4, and that all equals negative 3. Okay, there are some like terms here. 5h minus 4h is 1h. 35 plus 4 is 39. So h plus 39 equals negative 3. Oh, that's simplified down nicely. Next, we need to isolate the variable term, which is h. h plus 39, we need a negative 39 to take care of the plus 39. This will give us h by itself, and that equals negative 3 minus 39 is negative 42. H equals negative 42. It's actually already by itself. We don't have to do any division. Then we are going to check our solution. This is 5 times negative 42 plus 7 minus 4 times negative 42 minus 1, and that'll equal negative 3. There's a lot going on here, so I'm just going to check this out on my calculator. I've got 5 times negative 42 plus 7, and that's negative 175. Okay, I'm kind of out of room here. Negative 175, and then negative 4. I'm going to subtract 4 times negative 42 minus 1. And when I do that, all of this ends up equaling negative 3. and negative 3 does equal negative 3, that checks out just fine. So that is the correct answer. Number 2, match each equation with the best first step to solve it. On this, you look at the equation and decide what you would do. For example, on A, we've already got both sides simplified, and we would try to get this 4n by itself, the variable term. We'd have to get rid of the 4, and you would do that using a negative 4 on both sides, or a subtracting 4. So that would be this one. So the answer for A is 3. I. Number 3, you're going to plot the points and label them. That's just review of plotting points. Number 4, you're going to evaluate each of those using the standard algorithms. That's stack and add, stack and subtract, stack and multiply, or long divide. Number 5, find and correct the error. Number 6 is multiple choice. Oh, it's multiple choice, so only one of these is correct. Of the 120 apartments in a building, 75 have been scheduled to receive new carpet. What fractions of the apartments have not been scheduled to receive new carpet? So if 75 have been scheduled to receive new carpet, I guess that's 45 that haven't. So you'd want to do 45 out of 120, reduce that fraction and see what it comes out to be. All right, next. The perimeter of a parallelogram is 104 feet. Find m. Okay, perimeter. For this, you're going to have to just go around the perimeter, adding up all of this, m plus 3m plus m plus 3m, and make it equal 104, and then solve. B, what is if the height is 0.75m, find the area. To find the area, you just do base times height. The base is 3m, the height is 0.75m, and you can, once you know what m is, you can plug that in, get those numbers, multiply them together. Number 8, buses. 299 students were traveling on buses to Lagoon. The school ordered 6 buses and were filled to capacity, and an additional 5 students had to ride in a car. A, write an equation to represent this situation. Let C be the capacity of each bus. Okay. How many students fit on a bus? That's actually C, so whatever you get as the answer. So part A, you write the equation. Part B is the answer. Part C, this one is just thinking for yourself. If the 7th bus is ordered, how many total seats will be unoccupied on the 7 buses? Well, since there were 5 students that didn't fit on the bus, you would take the capacity of a bus and subtract off those 5 students, and that many empty seats will be spread out throughout the 7 buses.